The Orange and Kojo Show.
Am I? Bro, it's so hot in this room.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
fucking
it's not
sick.
that hot. It's not as hot here, but it's still hot.
Well, I just came I just came back from a session as well, and then just had a shower quick time.
How's
Uh,
the session?
It was great. I literally just did one trick, just the one. I
What
just
trick?
did everyone crash.
How was it in the end?
It's almost the trick.
Nice.
It's like I'm landing too soon to like get the hook out, but I'd rather build it up because it feels kind of sketch because the grass as well, like it was kind of thick, so my toes kept getting like caught in the grass, like twisting my toes, and I don't want to twist my knee off or anything.
Why,
So.
why are you training on thick grass?
Well, okay, so I only had an hour, and so I went to my normal grass spot, but they've let it grow a little bit too long.
So you're just getting it done.
Yeah, so if I'd have gone to another grass spot, would have had like, what, 30 minutes or something.
Yeah. Fair enough. Glad you trained.
Yeah, man.
I've just been sleeping. Yeah. I fell asleep at 3 p.m. and then woke up at 6. And I woke up and I've just been going off at people. Like that's all I've been doing since I woke up. It's just been all these just dumb messages and dumb comments. So there was one on the YouTube channel with someone letting me know that Jordan Alexander had done a tutorial on what he calls TDR kangaroo, but this guy was saying, and it's a TDR fake semi. I was like, oh, so you mean you've heard someone say that the move's called this, but you believe them, but then this other guy who's doing the move, you don't believe what he calls it, even though there's no point of reference, there's no tricking book, you just believe this guy, so you're going to tell this other guy that he's wrong, just based off nothing.
Well, it's exactly what we were talking about last episode as well. People, yeah. I don't know, the whole thing is just leave it,
it's
man.
Like you can have, like, everyone can have their names for things, and that's fair enough, but it's when you start trying to tell people that, oh, you got to call your trick my name for it.
Yeah, it's like
it doesn't make sense
when it's such a niche thing as well, because it's different. If you're calling an aerial a cork, then we got a problem.
Yeah, but when it's something that doesn't exist,
yeah,
if it's not a new name for it, like Jordan calls that, yeah, TDR kangaroo, that sounds way cooler than fake semi. Fake semi sounds so lame. It's like sucking the joy out of tricking with these stupid terms that don't make any sense. Like,
yeah.
It doesn't have to make sense is the point. So why not, if it's not going to make sense anyway, why not call it something that's interesting instead of some lame ass, because there are some lame names in tricking that sound stupid.
Well, at the end of the day, so this is kind of running off the back of our conversation. Well, a conversation we've been having like sporadically over the past week or so about how tricking should be fun, but there is also like, there's a certain element of seriousness that comes along with it. But at the same time, when it comes to the terminology, for me, in my opinion, I'd rather call things like the blaze, firecracker,
the spiral knuckle.
Yeah, like a moose knuckle. And all
the dirty captain. You need to pin that comment.
Which one?
Fake semi sounds like some dude who uses Viagra.
All right, done deal.
But yeah, so I was going off at him. Like, I didn't go off much, and then I went off at some other guy because he was DMing me. He was asking me how to gain a switch. I want to know what he was like. What's the secret to gain a switch? And I was like, well, actually, I made a 47-minute video breaking down the exact secret to gain a switch, every single piece of advice you could possibly get that's in any other video, and way more. So I was like, you could watch that. And I even said, if you're from a country where £10 is a lot of money, then we got ways you can get access for free as well. But he didn't want that. He wanted me to explain it to him in the DMs and spend my time doing that for free, when I've spent all these 100+ hours doing all of this. And it pissed me off.
Well, speaking of another silly comment, someone, Alo02 Vera, said, why does Kojo never wear a shirt? Right. Kojo
literally had a shirt every single time we've ever done this. First time I've ever not worn a shirt. Like,
listen, I'm pissed because I'm the guy that doesn't wear the shirt.
Yeah.
I am the guy because my body temperature is naturally through the roof. I'm like a menopausal woman. It's ridiculous at all times. And in the heat in the UK, I can't cope because we don't have AC and shit. And this is what, like, I was just before the show started, I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to put a shirt on, otherwise it's gonna be weird. I'm just gonna be a man on the screen shirtless. But now we're just shirtless boys together.
Yes, I didn't even realize you were shirtless too.
Yeah, I took my shirt off while you were talking.
Yes, mate.
Oh, listen, we're just some athletic males talking about heterosexual flips with our shirts off, and we like women.
Exactly that. I concur. All right, Omid, to
What?
continue a bit of what we were talking about last time as well, as I've been thinking about it more, looking into it a little bit more. The outside spring floors becoming a thing everywhere. I think, now I did have a comment, someone was saying like, oh, but you could like cover it. I don't think that's the way forward. I don't think that's the way it could be like massively produced and rolled out. I think the key is to have a floor that's fully like not waterproof, but like water just drains through it, like a trampoline. Like how you can leave a trampoline out in the rain, it drains right through it. You want that same thing with a sprung floor. And there's a load of different ways you could do that. I think that rubber instead of wood would be a good one, because you could have different types of rubber. You could have like softer rubber on the top, like they use in playgrounds, and then harder rubber underneath to make your panels, and then the springs, and then rubber on the bottom. But you could have little holes in the rubber so that it drains water. So the floor's not going to get waterlogged, and it can handle the elements. And then on top, someone said you would need drainage below. You'd need as much drainage as like a patio has, or as much as your garden has. It would be the same as your garden, because it's just something on top of your garden that water can go through.
Well, the whole thing with this, well, there's a couple of things I want to mention there. So just off the back of what you were just saying, it doesn't need like a drainage system. It's just, it needs a way for the water to not rest on the top.
Yeah.
So as long as you've got, and the whole purpose of making this floor durable and like, well, the whole point of this floor is so that it can endure a little bit of water, even if it's kind of gathered at the bottom. If the weather is bad, it's not going to just disintegrate and start rotting and all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
So I'm with you on that. But the other thing is, I was trying to think of like because I always thought like if we were to get a floor in the UK, it wouldn't last long. But if we were to have one, the key would be covering it. But I think the most important thing with doing this and making it as
why wouldn't it last long?
Huh?
Why wouldn't it last long?
No, I mean if we just had like a normal floor, like
okay.
But
because the problem's the top roll. The problem, like someone said, you could cover it, and yeah, you could. But what if it starts raining too fast and you can't cover it in time, or you cover it wrong, or the cover rips? It's like there's a lot of potential things, especially if you're trying to sell to like a big base of people, so lots of kids and stuff. And it's going to end up costing probably like between $1,000 and $2,000. So you don't want to mess up and allow rain to get on it, and then the foam starts to like rot and stuff. Like,
and the wood as well, because like, and what you were saying about like having it so that you don't have to have a cover. I think that's really important, because the more steps that you can kind of remove from the process, it like from start to finish, whether that be like daily use or like from when you first set it up, or even to the point where you want to take it down for whatever reason and put it somewhere else, the more efficient you can make that, the easier it's going to be to sell. Because if every single step of that process, let's say for example you were selling to like some kind of an events company or someone that would need it for shows or whatever, then you want to be able to put it together and take it down as quickly as possible. And if you can shave off like 5 minutes of each step of the process, you save yourself half an hour, and that's half an hour of like valuable time when you're doing shows and shit like that, or even just if you've got it at your house.
True. And also I think if it was like panel by panel, so you got all these squares and you can buy it by the square, then if you wanted, you could rearrange it so it's like a tumble track, or you can have it so it's like a square for tricking. You could even have it so you have a bit to run on, and then it's a square for like J-stepping onto it. I love the idea of it being super customizable. You can you can organize it exactly how you want.
Well, speaking of it being customizable, whenever you do it, you have to make one with a massive print of my face on there. like I want it to cover the whole floor, and I want to get like a drone shot from above of each square being put together, and you slowly see my face becoming.
Oh,
But no,
yeah,
I really think you're onto something with this. And the thing is, you're gonna be the guy out of everyone that's gonna pull the trigger and make it happen.
well, it's just, I don't know. It's like it's not straightforward, but it's somewhat straightforward. Like you can make a plan of what to do, of all the steps it would take to get to the point where you have a supply chain producing these spring floors and you're like selling them to a wide audience. And it would take, I think it would take, I don't know exactly. I know it's in the tens of thousands that it would take to actually do all the research and get the product ready and like make it so it's an actual thing and that it's safe enough so you're not getting sued for it. You probably have it come with a disclaimer that says like no flips or something, like trampolines do.
Yeah.
But,
or just some kind of disclaimer that says if you hurt yourself on this, it's not our fucking fault.
yeah.
By purchasing.
Someone said make it government backed so low income areas can train tricking, and that's the sort of thing you could do. That wouldn't be at the start though. That would be after you'd already made the product and you'd already sold lots of them worldwide, or at least nationwide. Like that wouldn't be at the start because the government aren't just going to give you money to develop this thing. When like why would they? But I think for getting the investment, crowdfunding could work. So maybe like you try and get just the acrobatic community to help fund it, because there's a lot of people out there who would like a home spring floor. And if you say like whatever you donate to like the startup fund, then you get that amount off your purchase of the spring floor. And if you're someone who just wants to support it, then you can give that like that money off to your friend or whoever. So if maybe one person you know has the space for the spring floor, if you all put some money in towards it being produced, then that would end up coming off the price you pay for it. And then there's also the possibility of just going to investors, because I think it'll be a pretty good move. I think they'd sell pretty well. Like there's definitely a demand. Just look at all the kids with like little air tracks and stuff, and it's way better than an air track sucks. So
yeah,
and they cost loads anyway. That's the thing. They cost like the same.
I don't know how much they cost. I haven't looked into it for years, but last time I looked, they were expensive.
Yeah. But I know the little thin ones. Thin strips are a lot cheaper, but like a decent one or a square one, it's like thousands.
Yeah, like an air trick. And even an air trick, it's kind of like if you're going to spend all that money, you may as well figure something out and get a floor. Yeah,
because floor's much better for training things to actually be able to do on the ground. A floor is closer to the ground, whereas an air track's more like a trampoline. Someone said, I got a cheap air track for like £200. But I'm thinking, yeah, but what air track is that, really?
He said it's B-Tech. Wait, so is this kid from the UK? is that his way of saying it's shit?
I don't know.
Yeah, when I was in school, when I was in college, whenever anything was a bit shit, they'd refer to it as B-Tech.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't like a super common thing, but it was like you'd say it's the B-Tech version because it's not like an actual,
Well, he says like 2 meters, and I think 2 meters of this sprung floor could be sold for like less than £200. So like per every couple of square meters, you could get that for real cheap. Someone's got see all these people have air tracks. Like,
weird. That's so weird.
And air tracks aren't even good, and people are spending the money on them. So if outdoor durable spring floors that you don't need to pump up, like there's no faff, it's just there, it'd be pretty sweet. Someone said, what would you prefer to train on, an air track or trampoline? I think trampoline's better, but I haven't trained on an air track that much, to be fair. But I think it's hard to train like actual tricking technique on it because it's so different. And trampoline's way different as well, but the different, I kind of understand the differences more. So I guess that's just my experience rather than it being better. But yeah.
Well, just from the limited experience that I do have on normal air tricks and stuff, I would say that trampoline is better because it is safer.
Yeah, I've seen multiple people mess themselves up on air tracks because you land slightly wrong, then the rebound, it just like pops your ankle out of place. And that's not, I've seen more people get hurt on air tracks than trampolines or the floor or free running from walls and stuff. I've seen more air track injuries firsthand, like being at gym sessions where people have broken ankles, way more on air tracks than anything else. Like they seem like the most dangerous piece of apparatus just because of the fast rebound. If you land slightly wrong, they just seem so dangerous. I've seen loads of people get messed up on it.
Well, the other point for me is like I feel like the difference isn't great enough for it to warrant. Do you know what I mean? Like I would rather have more time. Like in terms of bounce and stuff like that, I feel like it is kind of better to be training. If you are going to use a different surface, I think it is better to use the thing that gives you all the air time.
Yeah, make it as easy as possible.
Yeah, to train that technique and understanding and the air awareness and all that kind of shit. And I think in an ideal world, the real good progressions that you would be taking would be mega tramp to like gymnast tramp to garden tramp to air trick to and then to the floor, from the floor with the mat or from a height or whatever. But like a lot of those steps you can't just not do. Like just get a little bit stronger and start on garden tramp and then just build it from there, and then just go straight to the floor.
Yeah. I don't know. I think an air track could be a useful tool if you get really good at using it, and if it's the right type of air track. If it's like a good one, because some of them are really bad. Some are just like bouncy castles, and you just get like nothing off them. Have you been on one? Well, remember the one at UTX the cheerleaders had, and it was like the worst.
Well, there was also the one, like, I've been on ones in the past where no matter how much more you pump it up, like, it just doesn't, because I think it's because maybe over time it just ends up losing a lot of its, like...
The seams have, like, little holes in.
Yeah. But, like, when you take off, you bottom out, and that shit is sketch, because, like, you hit the ground and you hit the ground hard. Like, I've done it before where I jumped on my back because it was fine. And I, you know, it seemed pumped up enough. I jumped on my back and it fully winded me because I hit the bottom of the floor.
Yeah. Now, air tracks are, I think the spring floor, for trickers anyway, for tricking specifically, obviously we're going to be talking from that perspective, as that's what we do. But I think spring floor would be much better. Now, with the water, the porous spring floor that drains water, then the top roll that you'd have to use, that's a bit of a question. Like, one of the options is you could just roll out some kind of carpet on it. Another option is you could make the rubber itself kind of grippy. Obviously, it could have tiny holes in that don't really affect anything, so it can still drain. And maybe you could just trick on the rubber, especially if you had some kind of little gym shoe with grip on or something like that. And then another option, AstroTurf on top or something like that, because then it would fit in with your garden. But the AstroTurf like has little holes in, so it drains, and it wouldn't get worn down by the elements. You'd be able to jump right onto it. It would feel a bit like grass, which is kind of cool. Connor just commented you could use AstroTurf for the top. See, great minds.
Well, I mean, I think obviously this is something that you'd figure out throughout the development process, but I feel like there would be a way that you could essentially engineer a cost-effective top roll that is essentially just what we currently know to be top roll, but with materials that are cheap enough, but also that could be treated so that they can weather the weather, if you know what I mean. Because there's ways that you can treat, like you can get sprays where you spray a material and then any liquid that gets on it just rolls right off.
True. I mean, it needs to be.
No, I'm saying, if you can do that by just going to a shop, like I could go to a shop, any kind of supermarket, and get some spray like that. In terms of like manufacturing and looking into the real kind of detailed shit that could go on in these manufacturing processes, there's got to be a way that you could.
Well, I'm just thinking, like I feel like it would probably have to be a different material. I think there's plenty of materials out there that could be soft and like give cushion and grip. Like top roll. It's just, you say, because it's not about, we're not talking about it just surviving it raining once. We're talking about -0, like freezing temperatures, thunderstorms, boiling hot heat in the summer. Like it needs to be able to stand all of these elements.
Yeah, for sure. And all I was saying was it could be something similar to what we currently. That's because like the treatment side of things is something that like. It blew me away when I was looking into materials for clothing and shit. Like when you're looking into custom garments, you can just get any material you want and then just make it completely waterproof. Dude,
Yeah.
it's fucked. I don't know how they do this shit, but like this is the kind of stuff that you would learn along the process and be
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, you know, like
Yeah,
I
I'm
can do this, I
sure.
can't do that.
Like, I'm sure there'd just be loads of options that I haven't thought of yet, and that's why I think it's such a good idea. Just because it's something no one's tried to do. There's no one who's manufacturing outdoor spring floors. It's just not a thing that exists, and it's not that complex of a thing. All you need is, you know, something sturdy on the bottom, springs, and then something sturdy that's like a little bit softer on the top side of it, and then something grippy on top. And it all needs to be water, like allow water to go through it, be able to deal with snow, be able to deal with freezing temperatures and heat. And that's it. And that's not like impossibly hard. And think how that would change the game if there were all these outdoor spring floors just around everywhere. Like there was someone in every city who had one.
Well,
how crazy would that be?
Before I respond to that, someone commented just saying Kevlar, like it could be made out of Kevlar. If you did that, you could call the entire company Bulletproof, and you could call it Bulletproof Floors, and it would be sick because they can weather everything and they can deal with everything. And it'd appeal to the markets of young men that think it's cool. They've got like guns and bullets and flames all over it.
Oh, that's funny.
No, dude, I think if that were to happen, like if all of a sudden that were to come out right now, I think within 2 years, I don't know exactly enough. This might be like a massive exaggeration, but the actual amount of people getting into tricking could literally like double. And the reason for that is because, like, imagine if there was like even a kid at one school that got it, and then there's kids at other schools that get it, and then all of a sudden, like, if they're the kind of kids that are having friends over and whatever, and then they get a little crew together, and there's all these little crews of kids that are learning flips in their garden because their parents aren't like taking them all these places and shit, and then it just kind of it could grow exponentially from there.
That's one of those things where, like, I'm sure there's lots of people. This must have happened to a lot of kids. There'll be kids who are interested in learning flips, but then they go to like a gymnastic gym, they go to a class there, and it's boring as shit, and then they don't pursue it. Because you know, lots of people run classes in a boring way. But
it's not even just that. They just have bullshit rules a lot of the time.
Yeah, there's just a lot of rules, and they just take the fun out. You don't get to just really try stuff much in some places. So yeah, like you said, if there was a kid at your school who had one of these, and you saw videos of him doing these flips on it, you'd be like, oh, can I come and try? And it wouldn't be, you wouldn't have to go to a club with all these rules. You could just go around to your mate's house and start learning some flips. In the same way, garden trampoline everywhere has got loads of kids into garden trampolining. I think these spring floors being everywhere, that could be what really elevates tricking to the next level.
Yeah, I think, dude, I feel like that would, within a few years, that would like actually make the numbers just explode, just because of all of that. And that would be so fucking hype. Like if that was the reason that like all these kids just started coming up, and then they were just fucking killing it. Obviously a lot of them are just, it'd end up being like, because ideally what you would kind of want is like that kind of not fads kind of phase, but where it gets like a lot of attention. And all these, because a fad, it just kind of comes and goes, whereas like with this, I feel like because it's a little bit more of an investment, hopefully it would kind of miss that fad kind of niche where it just could end up becoming a thing where like it just blows the sport to a point where all these kids get involved, and then we get loads of show saves because they can just train in their back garden every single day.
That would be wild. But I want to change the subject because we did talk about this last time. But it's an interesting one. And as I get new ideas, and as you get new ideas for it, we should chat about it because I think that's going to be a real game changer. Yeah. But yeah, one thing I wanted to talk about was just what I'm doing right now, actually. How every 4 weeks of training, then I try and have like at least a 5-day rest period where I don't do any flips. I don't even trampoline. Because the rest of those 4 weeks straight, then I'll do flips pretty much every day. Maybe there'll be 1 day off in the week. But if you count trampoline, then I'm kind of training like pretty much every day. And I think that's a really good way to recover all of those little niggling injuries that build up. And I found since I've started doing this, I'm actually, I'm able to trick more overall. If you look at over a 6-month period, I do more tricks than if I'm just trying to go hard every week because I get less injuries. And also it helps with motivation because every time you come back, then you feel like ready to go and it's like a new start again.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's something that I've been trying to. I mean, that's the ideal training for me. That's what I want, and that's what's most fun. It's when you see the most progression. But there are periods, like for me, sometimes if a little injury starts acting up or whatever, then I have to rein it in a little bit, and it gets a little bit difficult sometimes. But then when you do come back to it, you have like 2, 3, 4 weeks of training every day, and then you have that week off, and you just allow yourself to really recover. But someone said, what about weight support? Now I'm not sure whether this is just like an English issue, but I think what he means or what he's getting at is, do you do weight training as well? And I know that's something I do more than you because, well, mainly because I've got the equipment, because you haven't got the equipment at home, and I do it just because it helps, and I really enjoy it as well.
Yeah, like I do when the gyms are open anyway. I try and do some weights. In the past, I've done a lot more. I just find it's not the most productive thing for my training for the most part. I normally benefit a lot more from like just stretching and focusing on keeping my weight down and doing
that's
like,
the point, actually.
not like condition though, but like lots of my conditioning is jumping and footwork drills and stuff like that. So it is impact on my body, but it's training me how to jump and absorb landings from jumps in different positions, which is what tricking is. Whereas tricking isn't slowly extending your leg with a load of weight on you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for me, I think a big part of it is, I feel like me and you are like just on the opposite ends of the spectrum. I think if we were to kind of meet in the middle weight wise, and then that would be kind of the ideal, because I'm a little bit smaller than I'd like to be, and I have been packing on the pounds since lockdown started because I've just been eating and training. But I want to get a little bit bigger and a little bit stronger, and then just kind of maintain that, and then just trick and just keep where I'm at. Whereas for you, because you are naturally a little bit bigger than I am, you want to bring it down a little bit and then just maintain that. And it kind of shows with the training that we do, because like, yeah, I will do more weight training, and also it's because I just really enjoy it, and yeah, I like that element of it. But yeah, I don't know, I find it really helpful, especially with injuries and stuff. Like if it weren't for actual like weight training, I wouldn't be able to trick right now, just because like this adductor injury that I've had on and off for the past like 2 years, whenever it's the most manageable and whenever it actually kind of disappears almost completely is when I'm doing the lady machines at the gym. And when I'm doing that consistently, I just don't really have any complaints. It's when I drop off of that and I can't as much.
And that's when it goes to shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm like, I don't know. I'm like that with my ankle conditioning, but yeah, that's not lifting. I don't lift to them. Do you want to kick out this guy who keeps just sending low thumbs down in the comments? Oh, I love kicking people out of their lives. It's always fun.
I didn't see him.
What do you mean? Go on, give him the boot. Give him a big nasty boot in his bum. Go on.
Bye.
Bye. But yeah, I think it's we're back to the resting, because we've always both done like lifting and stuff. Like there's never been much of a problem with the, you know, training. That's not the hard bit. Things. We've always been shit at the resting part, at making sure you rest enough. So like because it's been like this year, 2020, I've done this strict kind of making sure I have at least 5 days off after a month of training, and it's really helping. I want to keep it up. I think it's a smart thing to do. Someone mentioned earlier in the comments, like you could stretch and do cardio on those days, and I do, but I'm trying not to do too much. I haven't done like proper cardio for this 5-day period, mainly because there's no gym, and normally I'd use the cross trainer or cycling machine, because running's all right, but it normally hurts my hip, and also I'm trying to rest my ankle as well, and it hurts my ankle. So I've just been walking. I go on long walks instead, because if you walk for like an hour, then you burn as many calories as if you're running for 20 minutes. So I've just been doing long walks.
That's what bodybuilders and like fucking, what are they called? like strongmen and shit like that, and powerlifters have to do because they're too big, so they can't run. They literally can't run, so they have to go on long walks.
It's good. With the weather being nice, I've just been going on walks. Like I go to the park and I go way to the back of the park where there's no people and there's just trees and shit. And I just stretch and do mobility on my way and just walk around. I've just been walking to different parks. It's pretty nice.
I don't know, dude. Like I love running. When I picked it up, like I remember there was a couple of people that were just like, "You're not gonna run." Like my sister said to me, "You're not gonna start running," because I said to her, I was like, "I'm a little fatty. I need to start running. I'm a disgrace." So I started running, and then now I can't stop, dude. It's ridiculous. Like the only thing that stops me is injuries. And for the past like 2 weeks, the safest thing for me to do is not to run. But as of tomorrow, I can start running again because I'm feeling good again. Also, someone said, "I wish I had Ahmed's accent." Well,
first person ever,
bro. Listen, I'll be honest with you. There's this girl, like maybe like before I was with my last girlfriend, she loved my accent.
She wants a man from Duds.
She was from down south, but she was living up here. And bro, she wanted a man from Duds. Also, okay. So quick thing.
Go on.
Me and Kojo finally made it to Penkridge. I've just been getting all these notifications on YouTube, and I was like, what's going on? My YouTube's blowing up. So I just posted a video scheduled for 8 p.m. and me and Kojo finally made it to Penkridge, and it was the best thing ever.
We went to Penkridge Station. Ahmed showed Penkridge locals and same flips. It was so
bro, you need to watch that video. It's fucking silly. It's one of the silliest videos I've made in so long. I love it. But speaking about YouTube and shit like that, so me and Kojo love Stora. We love watching Stora, and like I love Farang and Stora just like as a whole. Everything they do, I'm just like, yeah, you're perfect. So with Stora's videos and stuff, me and Kojo have been talking about how even if they release a 30-minute video, the entire time we're both enthralled with what's happening. Whereas I can watch even my own videos and I watch them and they'll be like 6 minutes long or something. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah. It's so, I don't know, Stora's videos are more entertaining than pretty much any show that I watch on Netflix. It's like, I watch like the whole thing every time.
Yeah, me too.
They're just, I don't know. And I don't know how you could do something that would be that entertaining with tricking. I'm not saying there's not a way. I'm sure there's a way to make it entertaining, but free running it's so much easier to make entertaining because you can go to a different spot and there's different challenges every time. Whereas tricking, if you want a trick, it's much more repetitive. You've kind of got to train the same things or it's not going to happen. Like you're not going to get touchdown raise quad cork without spending loads of your time just doing TV raise, like, and then twisting all of the time. So it's not as entertaining, really.
The thing is, with Stora's videos and stuff, like, I think it was either the most recent video or the one before that. They were doing the water one where they were running in that little room.
Yeah, that was sick.
So it's not like that's not their serious training. They're not going there to do serious training, and this is something that I've only just kind of realized. They kind of dumb down what it is that they're doing for like large portions of their video to make it more applicable to the general viewer. Hence why they've got it's like 3 million subscribers now, or 4 or whatever.
What are you talking? They've got like over 6 million.
Oh, is it over 6 now?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, the number I had in my head then was 7, and I was like, no, it's not 7. That's what
it will be soon.
But yeah, I think a big part of it is like because they've got a team. Like, because for me, what I plan on doing with my videos is just I want to just travel tons. Like, I want to go to different communities, and especially within the UK as well. Like, I want to meet every tricker in the UK, and then I also want to be meeting all the different communities around the world, and just like really kind of honing in and going and setting little challenges. Kind of, I'm pretty much just going to use Stora as a bit of a blueprint, but for tricking, and I'm just going to test it out and see how I can kind of take inspiration from their videos and do it in a way that's more applicable to tricking, because it is tough. it's hard to make it digestible for even trickers because they don't want to just see you do the same combo and over again.
That's the thing. Whereas with parkour, it's like it's way easier to understand because it's someone trying to complete a challenge instead of trying to land a trick. Because if someone nearly lands a trick, then it's like it's kind of like you've seen it already.
But it's also kind of like if they could literally do the exact same distance jump every single part of the video, but if they do it in a different location, it is kind of a different thing.
Yeah. So how do you get? I don't know. How could you make tricking like add another element to it? I think one potential thing is tricking. If you made it so the challenge is to do really, really good tricking, obviously, but to do it in the best locations. And I don't mean just on a hill. I mean, so part of the challenge is you trying to get onto the rooftop of this building, you trying to get into this private property to do tricks, stuff like that. That would make it an interesting thing to follow, and there would be a payoff when you get this clip of you doing a really good tricking combo in this crazy place. Like that would be a potential thing.
Okay, well, that's literally what I wrote down yesterday. I'm not even exaggerating. Like, pretty much word for word, I said on top of a rooftop, because I've been trying to make kind of notes as to how I can. Because the thing is, once I'm making more videos, I want to be able to just like essentially come up with a concept and then just execute, but always be able to do that depending on what's going on and what the weather's like. But that is what I wrote down. I was like, set the goal at the beginning of the video, find a location, find a thing, and then just make the goal trying to do that. But one thing I also want to be doing, I want to be going on little trips, and the whole purpose of the trip is to get the most banging shots. And there's going to be somewhere there's a couple of locations in mind, but the whole purpose is to, if I see somewhere, like if I'm just driving down the motorway, if I see a cool looking location, because I always think when I'm driving down the motorway, I'd love to get a shot of me doing switches really far away with a wide lens, just on the horizon of that with this massive tree in the background. And so you got the sunset in the back, but I never actually get off the motorway and just do it. Whereas I want to spend days where I just go out and just try and get those shots. And I think that would make it a little bit more digestible. But what do you guys think in the comments? Like, if you're watching on YouTube, let us know, and I'll have a look at them as well. And also right now, because I'm just trying to make the best content that I can to help progress the sport and also make it more digestible for anybody that does watch my videos. So yeah.
I think that would work. I think that would work, and I'm sure there's plenty more you can do with it. Let's try and think. What other ways could you present tricking in a digestible, interesting way? But that's not gimmicky, because it's hard to. The gimmicks do well on YouTube, but that's what's great about Stora, that they do these things that it does well, and it's not gimmick. It's actual good entertainment. It's not just some dumb clickbait, stupid challenge. It's like a real thing, you know? Also
really hard as well. Because like what they're doing is really fucking tough. But I think, so one thing I wanted to do, because I'm obviously I'm getting deeper and deeper into kind of endurance-based things. One of the ideas that I had was I don't know what it would be yet, because I might be underestimating how difficult this would be. But the initial goal was to do the 3 peaks challenge, but do 10 switches at the top of each peak. Even if that takes me, like, if I have to get up there and then rest my legs for like 3 hours each time I get to the peak, that's what I'll do. Would there be space? Would there be like, you wouldn't have the even ground though? I think with the Yorkshire ones, I think you would. They got like a viewing. I think well, it's not like concrete. There's not like cement up there or anything like that. But like they do have like flat sections from what I've seen. Okay. But this is also one of the things, like I'd need to figure it out. But I feel like it's a little bit underwhelming if I make one video of me doing the 3 peaks challenge, whether it's the Yorkshire one or the national one, but then the payoff is just me doing races, because that's all I can actually do, because I'm on this sketchy hill. And if I fall any direction, I'm going to die. But it's like, if I can get like a fusion of like some kind of goal of like achieving something as well as doing the achievement of the tricks when I achieve that goal. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I don't know.
No,
Like,
I get you. And I think that one, rather than just the 10 switches, it'd be more just, I think you'd just be better off just doing some tricks up on there, but getting really cool shots of those tricks. So
Yeah,
everyone, you just do tricks on top, but it's like filmed really cool.
but dude, that would be such a struggle. Because like the three peaks,
Yeah.
the
They're high
national
on it.
three peaks, you've got to do it in 24 hours, and you end up
Mm.
hiking something like 4,500 meters or some shit. I don't know. It's something messed up. I can't remember off the top of my head. Let me
Is that
Google
how
it.
high you go up, maybe?
Yeah, that's how high you have to hike.
Okay. That's harder, I guess.
Yeah, I'm just Googling it.
It's so loud. It's just like
Sorry about that.
tapping away.
Oh, bro. Oh
What?
my God. It's
How
fucking
much?
23 miles?
Damn. That's some work. And going up hills as
Yeah,
well.
the total ascent is 3,064 meters. So that's how high you go. But the total walking distance is 23 miles.
That's the chat. I don't know. I don't know how well that would work though. Like that's not the sort of thing where I'd think, oh, everyone would want to watch that.
Nah, but like I want to do the
Man walks
challenge.
uphill, does flips on hill.
Nah, but bro, do you understand how beautiful this shit is? And also, I get what you're saying. But the Three Peaks challenge is like, I don't know, it's a cool thing to do, and also I'm adding the niche of the flips.
Yeah,
But it's like
that's just a one-off thing though. What you need to look for, the thing that Stora do right is they have a formula where they make these entertaining videos, and it's not like they don't have to go to like the Great Wall of China to make it. They can do it anywhere at any time, and they can reproduce them, and they're entertaining every single time. Like that's what I want to find.
I like the bike tour shit that they've been doing lately.
Yeah.
But it's like, but the thing is, it's kind of like, it's hard because it gets a bit skewed just because they've already built that base. It's like if I made a video called the UK tricking bike tour, it'd get no views. It'd probably get no views.
But that's because their videos are good, and everyone knows their videos are good.
No, I know, and it's like I obviously have to get better at making the videos, but like, like that one of their bike tour videos like is one of their highest performing of the past like few months, and like I love it because like, and sometimes I feel as though like even if I make the best video, because there's a little bit of an inconsistency with the amount that I upload, and also some videos are better than others, it is kind of difficult to make every video digestible and also really high quality. But
it's difficult, but it's going to be difficult. It's meant to be difficult though.
Yeah.
But yeah, part of it's like because everyone's going to share it, you know. Like if you're consistently making videos that are super entertaining, then people will share them with their friends, and people will watch it. It's just got to be like so good that people want to share it.
Yeah, of course. I mean, so Dylan said to really do it, you can simply do 24-hour challenges and just insert random tricks. So like Mr. Beast, but with tricking. And I get that, and that is something that I definitely want to do more of. And currently, like the things I'm working on at the moment are all like 30-day challenges, and I do want to do more 24-hour challenges, but they fuck me up.
A 24-hour learning a new trick in 24 hours would be quite a cool one. If you so you put in like 700 reps in a day towards learning some new move, and then you can kind of see how it changes just throughout that one day. That would be pretty interesting. Hard on the body, maybe not smart, but it would be interesting.
Well, just as the gyms were closing, I was actually going to do that with double back. I wanted to set a day. So it was like on the Thursday, on the Friday, I'd go to Revolution. I'd start off on the trampoline in the afternoon, and then I'd go to Revolution and train double back on the track, and then from tramp to resi, and then do it from track to mats. And then on the Saturday, because then it's still within the 24 hours, go to UTX and just do it on the floor. Because I just and then I could literally call it learning to double backflip in 24 hours because I've never done it on the floor. So,
yeah, that would be pretty sick. That would murder your abs.
Yeah,
And
bro.
one of these comments, Dylan said, "No, not like that. Like staying on an abandoned island for 24 hours, something like that. Just go to an abandoned island, Omid. That's easy. Just go to the sea, get in a boat, sail to an island, just stay there. Why don't you just do that? Why don't you do that, Omid?
I might make a video. What would it be like? Surviving on a canoe for, and then it's just like blanked out for X amount of days, and I literally just get in a canoe and just go into the ocean and just see how long I can survive.
You're like tricking on this canoe.
Yeah, I'm just like trying to raise Sis on this canoe. I'm alone, obviously, and I call the
Pitch
video.
black. You're freezing cold. Like,
The video that finally kills Ahmed.
oh no. Easy. Oh, you training this weekend?
Yeah, I'm thinking of actually making a video like that, kind of the one that we were talking about, where the whole purpose is to like go and just get the best shots and just like kind of drive and go some cool places.
I thought you maybe wanted to trick with your mate.
Huh?
Thought you maybe wanted to trick with your mate.
I can trick on my mate.
I'm gonna be training though, because I've not trained for a week, so I want to train.
Yeah, I was gonna have a proper session on Saturday as well.
Oh, okay.
And
Well, I think I'm gonna session on Saturday. Yeah, I think I'm gonna rest again tomorrow. Just get that last bit of recovery in, and hopefully my ankle's okay tomorrow. Well, on Saturday.
Yeah, get it. I mean, if we have a session early on the Saturday as well, that'd be good. If you're down.
Yeah, I'll be up. You know me.
Yeah. Someone said, okay, so Quantum Blitz, my boy Quantum Blitz said, teaching someone how to do XYZ flip in 24 hours. Now, once I can go near people, I'm going to teach a complete stranger how to backflip. And someone literally just commented that. I've been taught, I don't know, it's like, there's not a shortage of ideas, but sometimes it is just kind of hard to execute. But I'm gonna be doing as many of these kind of videos as possible.
Yeah, I like teaching strangers one. I'd like to do some not teaching them to backflip though. I'd teach them like gainer and aerial, because you could actually teach them it.
Well, I mean, I think the way I envisioned it, it was going to be literally me and one other person. Just one person following me around filming, because this would make for really entertaining like interactions with random people. And I was going to go into the city on a particular day and just be like, listen, I want to teach you how to do a backflip, and then teach them some basic stuff on the grass, just somewhere like in Pigeon Park or whatever.
Well, I don't think.
And
well,
then
Pigeon Park's good. Yeah, I was thinking like Cannon Hill Park, somewhere like that.
Ooh,
if you in a tax park, that would be the place to do it. Like,
but doing it with the basic tricks there, but then continuing the video and actually convincing them to come to the gym so that I can teach them in the gym. Because not only, like, especially if I did it on a day when there was a gym session later in the day, like and I'm pretty certain, listen, I can be a smooth talking motherfucker. I want to convince a girl to learn to like B-kick or something on the grass. And then later that day, like go for coffee just to like make sure that I'm not a maniac. And then later that day, get her to go to the gym with me, and I'll teach her how to backflip, or front flip, or just, you know, some stuff like that. Because I'm pretty certain that I could do that. And if I got some babe in the video,
that would do well. If
blow.
You made a video approaching babes, trying to teach them flips, and then taking them to the gym, that'd be amazing. Everyone would love it.
I'm gonna do it. And also next time I'm in LA, I'm gonna do a tricks for a kiss video.
You're gonna get cancelled.
Why can Danny Duncan do it for skateboard tricks, but I can't?
Some people are allowed, some people aren't. You know, you got that Iranian blood in you.
Look at this TikTok hair.
You do have TikTok hair. I'll give you that.
I can get away with all sorts with TikTok hair. And look at this vein as well. Look at that.
I don't think that helps.
It's a handsome vein. This is the most beautiful vein that you've ever seen.
Omid,
what then?
we had some responses. I had a couple DMs about it as well. People are interested in us doing the lives while stretching, and it's like a follow-along stretch routine. When should we do the first one? Tuesday?
Yeah, we can do it Tuesday. That works.
We could.
Also, wait, hang on. We haven't even mentioned how we did a whole interview with Peen, and that's up on the YouTube channel right now.
Oh yeah, we did an interview with Peen. It's up on the YouTube channel right now. So check it out if you want. We talked about the behind the scenes of Big and all of the madness that happened on the 2017 US tricking tour. So yeah, check it out. But about the stretching thing, I think Tuesday we'll do, because I'm thinking every week we can do a different hour-long routine. You guys can follow along and stretch, because every tricker needs to get more flexible. Every person needs to get more flexible, really. It only makes you feel better and does good in your life. But yeah, so we can all be stretching at the same time, and me and Ahmed will be chatting about about him getting women from the park to come to the gym. So,
coercing women into doing flips.
Yeah, that's your title, and it's like gone wrong.
It's just me in cuffs. Oh god! Whoa!
What?
All at the start of this comment was, I was jumping from a pretty high bridge today. And what the fuck? All right, okay. It said, and my girlfriend was of course too scared to backflip, so I held her and we jumped together and did a backflip. Dude, that sounds sketch. What are you doing to this poor girl? Can I imagine it? You just going up behind her and just wrapping your arms around and just falling back like an absolute maniac. Jesus.
Damn, that's hype though. It's hype that you got to send it.
Yeah, get it done.
Yeah.
But yeah, the stretching will be fun. It's gonna be, because I haven't got that much space in this house to stretch, but I'll figure it out.
You can figure it out. You could even do it outside. Like you could even do it in the park.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Because you just set up
if
camera,
the weather's
it's
nice,
like just having a conversation, stretching and stuff.
Well,
I don't know.
If the weather's nice, yeah, I'll do that. I mean, it's fine. It's not a problem. Like I've got but yeah. Who's this guy?
Which one? What's it saying?
He's just messy. Oh no, it's not the same guy. But he said, it's possible in a trampoline, the spoon backflip.
What? Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, that's true. How do you deal with like now? We kind of covered this before, but like, what is your approach to dealing with Scar when she's got like a mental block or whatever? Because like, with my ex-girlfriend, I tried to get her to do front, she wanted to do front flip on the trampoline, and she refused to let me look at her when she was doing it. I was like, I'm a man who's been doing flips for 8 years, been teaching for 6 years. You might want to let me look so that I can help you. If there's anyone you want to look at you doing flips, it's me. But yeah, it was a weird one. But do you run into those kind of things with Scar?
I don't know. I mainly worry more about her trying things she shouldn't be trying, to be honest, and breaking her ankle again. Because that was massive faff last time, and I'm not trying to. Like, I was worrying about that the other day. Actually, I'm not happy. I don't want that to be happening again when we're in Portugal. So I'm just trying to get her to drill things more, so that it's safer.
Well, it's just hard. Like when you've got more of an emotional attachment to somebody, when you're trying to like help them do tricks and stuff, I find it hard to like remove myself from that. You know?
Yeah, it's hard knowing as well. This is a really tough situation because I don't like to give people tips who don't ask for them, especially. But and even if it's some random at the gym, even if they're endangering themselves, I don't care that much. It's kind of on them. I mean, I've already made more information available than pretty much anyone else in the world for it. So there's already that. And if they ask me, then I'll give them even more information for free. So if they don't ask me, then fair enough. I'll just let them to do whatever and hurt themselves. But if it's someone I care about, then I see them doing something where I know they could hurt themselves, then I want to say something because I don't like, that's the least I can do. But then that can cause conflict sometimes, you know?
Well, it's difficult. It's difficult, especially with any of your mates, because like, and then with a relationship, I can't even imagine that because I've never been involved with anyone who's done tricks or whatever. But like, it's bad enough when you used to tell me like, "Oh, you're gonna fuck yourself up. Stop doing this. You're being a moron." because I'd just get butthurt about it and just be like, fuck you then. And then I'd do it and I'd hurt myself and then I'd be like, all right, you were right.
Yeah.
It took years for that to really sink in.
Yeah, and it's like sometimes people have to learn for themselves, but it's one thing with kids and it's another thing when you're an adult, because when you're older, then one mistake can mean you're never going to be tricking well again, or even your whole life's just going to be affected by it and you're just going to be in pain walking around. So I take it very seriously now.
Yeah, you kind of have to.
You
You have to get a little bit more of like a, I don't know, like for me, like, especially when I'm teaching the kids, I find it difficult not to approach it like a dad.
Yeah,
Because like,
but it's hard because people like take, here you go, you got a comment from Quantum Blitz there. Now, you knew his account, so I'm sure he's seen plenty of your videos. So I'm sure at some point in their lives or whatever, he would have seen you or me or someone talking about how important it is to train safe, because if you mess up, then you just can be injured for years and it's going to set you back and you'll never get anywhere near as good as you would have. You can spend months and months being depressed because you can't do anything. Yet he's just commented how he tried double back on a spring floor when he's never tried it before. So people will hear this stuff and they'll just ignore it because they'll think, well, that doesn't apply to me, until they actually learn for themselves and they have to spend that time in pain.
Well, I mean, of all the things that you could break, your nose isn't the worst, but
yeah,
it affects your ability to get babes, and then that'll affect you.
Well, it's not about him he could have done it, like he could have tried it and landed that double backflip perfectly on the spring floor without trying it anywhere before. But that still would have been stupid. That still would have been dumb. It still would have been risking your happiness, being able to train, work on your passion, this thing that you love to do, risking that for no reason, for no gain, other than you didn't want to bother doing prerequisites onto a softer surface. Like, you know, but people find it hard to learn from the mistakes of others and they kind of have to make them for themselves. And we did the same.
Well,
people told us as well, and we did the same stupid training.
Well, I think with certain tricks, like with double back, I feel like there's certain tricks, mainly double flips, that have a little bit more of like a, I don't know, almost like it's a different kind of mental barrier to get over. Because something that might be even more scary, like aerial helicoptero, the chances of you, or like some kind of helicoptero or scissor or some shit like that, in my eyes, when the first time you're doing that, the way that you're twisting and having to land, if you're doing that without enough prerequisites, the chances of you snapping your shit up are really fucking high.
Yeah.
With double flips, it's not quite as risky, in my opinion. Wait. But I think it's different. I guess it doesn't matter how risky it is. I just think it's a different thing. And I think because you've got that bigger kind of fear in your head when you're going into it, even if you have drilled it, especially in the earlier days, you can still have shit where you freak out midway through, even if you've drilled the prereqs and stuff like that. So I think with that kind of shit, like, you, especially double back, you need to just make sure you've drilled it to the point where you not even know, it feels chill to be doing it.
You know exactly where you are the whole time.
Yeah.
Because why wouldn't you? Like, what do you gain by rushing it onto the floor? There's a lot you can lose. You're risking a huge amount of like time spent not being able to walk and stuff, and then maybe having your ligaments injured so they hurt every time you trick for the next 5 years. Like, you're risking all of that, but what are you actually gaining? You could have just spent 2 more months doing it onto a mat. You know,
you could get in money and bitches.
You could, yeah. You're missing out on all of that.
Oh, it's so funny.
It's never a good look landing on your nose, is it?
How did you even break your nose? Did you like land?
You must have come out.
Did you land in like a superhero stance and then your elbow hit your knee and like fucking punch yourself in the mouth?
He probably came out. It probably had something to do with having not practiced it before and then trying it on a spring floor. That probably had something to do with it.
Yeah.
But, yeah. And throwing it at the end of the session when he was tired.
I mean, but we did stupid shit when we were younger. We did.
But we didn't have people telling us how to train in a productive way, though. We didn't have people giving us all of this advice.
Yeah,
so that's why
I was a week.
That's why I forgive it a little less, or like people who are training stupidly when they've been told they have all of their questions answered. I respond to pretty much any question. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. We got 10 seconds left. So,
All right.
Yeah.
Sa-
This is gonna be the longest tape.